today's lesson is distributive property and order of operations. What's our objective, class? Get ready?
Distributive property and order of operations.
Okay, very good. Today we're going to learn about some of the properties that are building blocks to other maths that will have applications that we'll get to. So here's some rules. In a rectangle, we could add length and width and another length and width to get perimeter, right? So I have two of them. I have two lengths plus widths. But I could also say I have two lengths and two widths, right? Two lengths plus two widths. Well, these expressions, although they look different, they mean the same thing. So we're going to talk about that property that says that. So I'm going to skip right down to that property. It's the distributive property. What is it called? Get ready?
Distributive property.
The distributive property. So the distributive property says whenever I have something out in front of parentheses, it means multiply. So I'm going to multiply the A times everything inside the parentheses. So remember that 2L plus W? It became 2L plus 2W. Well, it's going to become AB plus AC. So you multiply A through everything in the parentheses. Here's how you're going to be able to remember it. This is the relationship when I try to memorize things. It's called distributive property. You know, out near Grantsville, there's a distribution center. The Walmart trucks distribute things. You know what they're distributing? Merchandise. A semi-truck pulls up from Illinois. Semi-truck pulls up from Kentucky. One pulls up from LA. And they're like, well, we got to have these basketballs on that truck, and that truck, and that truck. And it's the same merchandise to every truck, right? Because every Walmart sells the same products. So here's your basketball. It's going to go to Kentucky and Illinois and Cincinnati. It's going to go to everything. So you have to distribute it to every truck. So picture these as little semi-trucks. Okay? You're distributing. So let's do this one. It'd be AB plus AC plus AD. And you multiply it through A times B, A times C, A times D. And whatever the sign is, just put that same sign between. So A distributed to B and to C looks like AB minus A times C. Some of my students said, hey, it's a witch's hat. That helps you remember, oh yeah, this is when we distribute. Okay? So that's the distributive property. What is it called? Get ready?
Distributive property.
Distributive property. So we're going to try a few practices. All right, 2 times parentheses x plus y. I'll distribute the 2. It gets in that truck and in that one. So we go 2x plus 2y. Can I combine the 2x's and 2y's? No. They're not like terms, so I can't add them. So I'm done. I just leave it like that. Joseph.
Could you add the things that you multiply by?
Great question. So in this case, you can't combine the x's and y's. If I could, then you would do the order of operations and do inside the parentheses first. So great question. I had a student last class that said, but I don't know what x is and I don't know what y is. How do I solve it? I said, guess what? You don't have to solve. All we're doing is writing in a different form. We're actually, this one would be like expanding. Okay, we're writing it in a distributed form or expanded form. Let's do this one. 6 times 2x minus 3, we're going to times by the 6, times by the 6. So we get 6 2x minus 6 times 3. And now simplify. If it can be simplified, you must simplify it. 6 times 2x would be 12x. 6 times 3 is 18. Can I do 12 minus 18? Nod yes or no. Can I combine 12x and 18? You're right. The answer is no. These are not like terms. That doesn't have an x, so you can't combine them. It's like 12 xylophones minus $18. You can't combine those. They're different forms. Okay, now we're going to go in reverse direction. So those trucks went out to Cincinnati and Illinois, and they said, your basketball is defective. Send it back. Okay? So look, this truck ended up with a basketball here. This truck ended up with a basketball here. Send it back. The markers, put them back and get the 12 pack. So we don't want the 2, right? The 2's defective. We're going to do a factory recall. This is called factoring. What is it called? Get ready?
Factoring.
Factoring. So the 2 is in both. Because it's in both, I'm going to factor it out or pull it out in the front. And I'm going to say, well, if I pulled it out of the trucks, what's left? Well, just truck A and truck B. The 2's gone. We like divided the 2 out. Alright? Didn't I just start with this like up in here? So if I were to distribute, I could go 2A plus 2B. Hey, that's where I started from. So I'm going in the reverse order. Give me a nod if it makes sense so far. Okay, let's do a few practices. Alright. I could add and say that's 25. We know that, right? But the question says factor it. So what's the common thing that's in both of these? What's the greatest common multiple? Or sorry, greatest common factor? Ethan?
5.
He says 5. So 5 times 3 would give you the 15. And 5 times 2 would give me the 10. So I'm doing step by step. I'm just writing it out with the factors of 15 are factors of 10. Looking for that greatest common factor, which is 5. I'm going to circle the 5. Factory recall. We don't want it. Send it back. And send it out. 5 goes outside of the trucks. Now what I'm just left with is 3 plus a 2. So on the inside, you write whatever's left over. Make sense? Did I just go in the reverse direction of distributive property? Could I check it? Is 5 times 3, 15? Is 5 times 2, 10? Okay, good. I could now combine the inside and get 5 times 5. We knew it was 25 to begin with, but here's a question for you. If I put a variable here, wouldn't I just put the variable there and there? And now I can't combine. It would just stay like this. You're going to see one like that today. So if you have an x, you can't pull the x out. The only thing you can pull out is the 5's because they're in both. So I divide the 5 out. It stays on the outside. The x is still on the inside. Okay, let's do question, Jasmine.
Couldn't you say, like instead of just leaving it like that, couldn't you say 5 times 3x plus 10?
Well, I could say 5 times 3x plus 10, but now I've gone back to where I started, 15x plus 10. So I went back to where I started. So no, I'll just leave it like that. If this is to factor, leave it in this form. Okay, good question. All right, we got a few more practices. I'm going to call students for help to make sure you are understanding this material. So we're going to distribute or expand 3 times w plus m. How would that work? Okay, I got to send that basketball in each truck. Spencer.
So you would distribute the 3 to each one, so it would be 3 times 4, w, plus 3 times n.
Perfect. Can I combine those? Nope, not like terms. 3 walruses and 3 monkeys. They're different. Okay, so how do I factor? Now I'm going to go in reverse order. Got a factory reject. Got to pull it out. Send it back. What do I pull out? Michelle? The A's. Okay, what do I write? Excellent. A parentheses times x plus y. So this got pulled out and that got pulled out. You only write it one time. Okay, good. Now let's distribute this one. How about Preston? Okay. I could. We don't need to.
Just no.
Keep it simple.
3x
3x, good.
plus
3 times 2, right? 3 times 2. Some of you in your mind already knew the next step. And if you're getting it right, I'll let you skip this step and just say 6. And you're done. Okay? Okay, very good. All right, 4x minus 2, 12. What's my greatest common factor in this one? Gage.
Is it 2?
2 will work, but there's a bigger one.
4.
4. Let's take this 4. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to rewrite this with a 4. So let's write it as 4 times 3. So we've got 4x minus 4 times 3. Give me a nod. Some students were confused on this step. Does that make sense? I just rewrote it kind of more expanded. Okay, good. So circle of 4 is now what, Gage?
Recall.
Recall.
4 parentheses x plus 3.
Let's see, what's my
X
sign?
times two, okay,
Or my, sorry, I started to write it ended up being a dot, it's a minus, right?
I was right.
Okay, good. 4 parentheses x minus 3. Check it, is 4 times x, 4x is 4 times minus 3, a minus 12. Yeah, there's our check step, so we know we did it right. All right, you guys did good. Let's go on to part 2. Order of operations is PEMDAS. What is it called? Get ready? PEMDAS. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. We're going to practice that. P stands for, get ready?
Parentheses.
E, get ready?
Exponents.
M, get ready?
Multiplication.
Good. D, get ready? Division. A, get ready? Addition. And S, get ready? Subtraction. Very good. That's the order when we have a bunch of operations all in the same type of expression or equation. We have to follow this order. So we're all consistent. We all get the same answer. So if you see parentheses, you have to do what's inside the parentheses first. If you see any exponents, do the exponents next. And so on and so forth. Multiplication, then division, addition, subtraction, go left to right. So let's try a couple. All right, 20 minus 2 times 3 squared plus, parentheses, 7 plus 8, divided by 5. Here's my question. We're going to answer this class. Which operation do we do first? Our choices are subtract, multiply, exponent, parentheses. We also have addition, and we have division. What's our first operation? Get ready?
Parentheses.
Parentheses. You guys knew that without even hesitating. Good. So 15. What's my next operation? Get ready?
Exponents.
Exponents. Good. 3 squared is 9. And so I don't have too much of a jumble. I'm going to rewrite everything that we have so far. Okay? I've got a minus, a times, a plus, and a division. What's my next operation? Get ready?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Good. There's 18. I've got 20 minus 18 plus 15 divided by 5. What's my next operation? Get ready?
Division.
Division. That'll give me a 3. So I'm out of room. I'm going to come up here. 20 minus 18 plus 3. Now since I just have addition and subtraction, I'm going to go left to right. So give me 2 plus my 3, and I get 5. What happens in this case, I've got all these nested brackets and braces and parentheses. Start on the inside first. There's a 2 right here. Now I've got 6 minus 2. That's going to give me a 4. Now I've got 8 minus that. That gives me a 4. And then down here, I've got a 10 minus that. There's my 6. I know I went really fast on that. Is anyone confused? Okay. What happens if I have these like absolute values and square roots that have different parts in them? Like, should I take the absolute value of the 2 and the absolute value of the negative 7? No. Treat this as parentheses. So do your 2 minus 7, you're going to get negative 5. And then take the absolute value of that. Remember, absolute value is the distance from 0. So our distance is always positive, positive 5. Should I take the square root of 9 and the square root of 16? No. Treat it like it has parentheses. So add it first, it'll be 25, and that equals 5. Should I divide the 12 and the 3? Because that would be pretty easy. No. Treat it like it has parentheses. Do the top first, 144, and then the bottom, and then divide after that. I'm not going to finish answering just for the sake of time. Consider this expression 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 divided by 3. It says, as written, this expression equals what number? Use the correct order of operations. What's my first operation I should use? Go.
Multiplication.
Multiplication.
Times 3.
Give me a 9. We get 3 plus 9 minus 3 divided by 3. What's my next operation? Layla. Division. Boom, here it is. 3 divided by 3 gives me a 1. That gives me a 12. Minus 1 gives me 11. I'm going to switch things up now. What if I told you I want to put parentheses in it so that I can force the answer to be a 3? I want the answer to be 3. Okay, so the first time we did it, we put them here, right? And we got our answer was 11. So where else could I put parentheses? I could try here and see what our answer is. 6 times 3 minus 3 divided by 3. Let's do 18 minus 1. That's 17. That's not going to work. Okay, we did those two. We did these two. How about these two? Right here. 3 plus 3 times 0 divided by 3. What's next? Multiply or divide? Get ready?
Multiply.
Multiply. So 3 times 0 is 0. So I've got 3 plus 0 divided by 3. Oh, I gotta do division first. 0. There it is. There's my 3. Okay? Give me a nod. Makes sense? Makes sense? Okay, good. So changing the order can change the answer. That's why we had to have a rule in mathematics. If we all have the same order of what goes first, then we can make sure we have consistent operations, right? And consistent answers. All right, let's see what you know. We're on page 143. A, B, erase your board, C, D, erase your board, D, I, J, R, then we have to do all that. Take a stand-up break.